All right, Brent Porcia, TopVelocity.net. Pretty excited. Got another 90-plus testimonial here today, all the way from Canada, right? Tell them where you're from in Canada.
I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Western Canada.
Awesome. And this is Owen Steele. So, Owen, talk about, because this kind of goes way back, talk about when you first came, or why did you first come to a camp? Like, what was the need? Was it your decision? Like, what were you looking for? Why did you first come to a camp?
I was a pretty small kid in grade 11 that just wanted to throw hard, and I spent a couple months looking around, just trying to find something. Figured this looked like the most effort someone had put in that I'd seen. I was like, I may as well take a shot on it.
And this is what, 3 years ago?
The second one was 3 years ago, or 2 years
2 years ago, yeah, because you came to the second camp.
Yeah, the first one was 5 years ago now. So
wow, and where was it? I can't remember.
It was in, I think, Mandeville, the Gorilla Baseball, when that was still.
It was in the big one. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going way back. Or the one that had the big gorilla head in the back, right? Okay. Talk about that experience of that first camp.
So that was really my first time doing anything outside of just baseball specific practice, throwing just with a team basically. So I came and it was kind of weird. Like at first I'd never done much for anything in the gym. Like my team had sort of started, but it was like a once a week thing. So I came here and I get this and there's all this stuff set up. I'm just kind of like wondering what's going on. I go through the week and I'm super excited after because I've never seen anything like that before.
And the camps were different back then. I think how much of the training was I doing back then? Because there was a point where I would literally like do the lifts with everybody. Was I doing that back then?
I think so.
Yeah. That was the difference of the camp. Yeah, I was like really getting in with everything. Now it's like way more analytical with the guys. I'm a lot nicer to the guys. So that was cool. So when you left that camp, what happened?
Well, for the first bit, I was kind of overwhelmed by all the stuff. It was kind of hard to find a starting point, and I was going through and just trying to figure out what to do. And I'd prefer not to like stand out too much. So like going to the gym's kind of weird
you're
for
like,
me.
oh great.
Yeah, and all
Olympic
that
stuff and all the med ball throws.
Yeah, all
this
stuff that I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna do this, and everyone's just gonna be like, what is this guy doing? So that was kind of funny, but once I went through it all, found the beginner program, and at least like tried to find a starting place for it. But really, like I did a bit here and there after, but for the first like 4 or 5 months, I hadn't done too much, and even my parents were like, "Are you gonna use this at some point?"
Yeah. That's your mom was telling me. Your dad was like, "I spent all this money. You better be doing this."
Yeah, and then after a bit,
which is normal to be honest. A lot of guys, that's the hardest part is like getting into it. That's why we now want the guys to stay as long as they can to train because it helps. But then there's guys that like get into it. Maybe season comes and then their team is telling them to do a lot of stuff, or maybe they're still trying to do the preseason programs and season programs, and then they fall out of it, and then maybe they don't even get back into the next off season. So I mean I understand that, but the thing is like at least you always know you can always get back on it.
Yeah,
I mean that's eventually what you did.
Once I started it, never had an issue. I don't think I've taken more. Like actually, the last 2 weeks has been the longest I haven't done much of anything. That was just because of the most I've played for baseball in a spring and summer. So I just wanted a bit of a break first. So coming here is basically another starting point for my fall.
Yeah,
get back into shape after 3 weeks off.
Steven, you made me sneeze.
Sorry.
So then we come back around. We did another camp in Long Beach 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why did you want to do that camp?
That one, basically, after the first one, I'd started about 6 months later, so going into my grade 12 senior year of high school, and started to at least figure out what was going on for everything, got a decent idea, and then over the next, I guess, 2 years of that, the first year was basically just trying to figure out everything, like make sense of it, get used to it. And then the second one, so my first year of university, by the end of it, all of a sudden, there's a big jump for me. Like I went from throwing like low 70s to low 80s all of a sudden, was just kind of like, oh. So finally clicked. I was like, maybe go again, see if something else clicks again after that.
What would you credit that gain to?
I got a lot bigger when that first camp in grade 11. I think I was 5'3", 110 pounds maybe.
Yeah. Right.
And by that time, I was a decent amount bigger, but still only like 5'8", 140. Not big kid at all.
Right.
So that,
and then that's kind of
so
been
much stronger.
And that's been your theme. I mean, because you just kept gaining more weight, getting more mass, getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk about when you broke behind it. You talk about that. Your mom already told me the story, so talk about that.
So this summer, I wasn't even sure if I was going to play baseball. I was just going to help coach again. And I got my university coach got me an offer for a summer team for a Western Canadian league called the WNBL. And I was playing in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, which if you've never heard of it, it's not new because most Canadians don't know what it is either.
And it's probably like maybe 2 months out of the year you could actually play baseball there. Is that?
Yeah, I had snow on. There was snow on the field this year until the middle of April.
Right.
We had a snow fence on our field for our first games because the warning track hadn't melted yet.
Yeah.
But it does make it kind of tough, so you do have to take advantage of the summer. So I ended up going there and playing there, and didn't have much for velocity there checking wise, but it was coming out pretty well. And then the end, I got asked to go to Thunder Bay to play in the Northwoods League, and guess it just carried over to there and ended up breaking it there.
So talk about when you were told that how hard you were throwing. Talk about that experience.
So it was actually the day before my birthday that I was throwing, and the next day, so for my birthday, I basically wake up and I get a text, and it's like, oh, the broadcast said that you were throwing upper 80s to low 90s yesterday. I was like, are you sure? Like, I couldn't actually, like, really bask in it at all. It was just kind of like, oh, but I guess, like, okay. Like, still not quite sure what to think, but it was pretty cool. Something where it's just like, hey, I did it. Like, after so much time of putting all this effort in, trying to figure stuff out, it just finally happened.
It's amazing. So, and even did you see it again?
Yeah, about a week later, bullpen, same thing, and then finished out the season. And so it was it was kind of nice. It wasn't just a straight one-off.
Yeah.
Where I could at least be like, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah. Like a bit of validation for myself.
So you actually saw the gun?
Yeah, the second time.
Was it in the stadium?
Yeah, it was one of those scoreboard ones. So, not sure how trustworthy that is, but I'll take it.
What is that?
After the first one, it was just 90 flat.
90 flat, awesome. So, you started in the program 5 years ago, this big, like 70s, right? And then you eventually, over 5 years, worked in the low 80s, and then upper 80s, and then you got your 90, which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. So talk about, in that process, besides just growing up, talk about what not just was pivotal in making gains, but what was pivotal in getting you to 90? Like, what do you think was the outlier? Besides doing everything, like you said, is important, but what was some of the key things that started really breaking you through?
Like, the big one for me was just getting that general base of strength. I guess throwing comes pretty well to me. Like, it just makes sense. I spend a lot of time going about wanting to learn about it, so that I didn't worry too much about the actual throwing part of it. I just wanted to get as strong as possible. Mm-hmm. And every so often I'd gain 10 pounds and start lifting like 20, 30 pounds and everything more, and consistently did that. And then this year gained another 10, 15 pounds. Same thing happened. All my lifts went up, and then everything just kind of clicked when I was throwing. The extra strength just made it possible for my body to actually go through what it needed to.
So you had a pretty good understanding of the biomechanics of what we were doing.
Yeah, like that all makes sense to me. That's what I love to spend my time doing, is just watching pictures.
Yeah. And any key lifts that you felt like were really pivotal for you?
I think for me personally, squatting was super important, just because I wouldn't say I just being small, I figured if that was being as strong as possible. And then going through cleans were super good because the movement's pretty similar outside of the plane that it's acting on.
Yeah.
But overall it acts at least in a way that you can get the motion to a degree.
The kinetic chain, kind of how you're sequencing up from the ground. Right? Upper body too. I mean, your upper body got a lot bigger.
Yeah, that's probably the most noticeable. Like, I think first time I bench pressed even a plate, 135, was like grade 12, and I got up to 2 plates about a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference there. That's probably the biggest difference overall in terms of size.
Yeah.
Like, I could count the ribs on my chest when I started, and that was something that took a while, but eventually it just happened.
What did your friends say when you broke into the 90s? Did friends treat you any different?
My one friend is just like, so are you going to send me a photo? He loves to bug me about that.
He does.
That kind of stuff. He knows.
So he's probably going to give you a hard time about this, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something he's like, oh, you sure? Do it again. So are you going to do that for us at the fall season? It's like all this. I'm just like, come on, man. Just give me a little credit here.
Yeah, no. So they're giving you a hard time, not really taking you serious, huh?
It's kind of funny. They know, because this is all I ever talk about was like, I just want to throw harder, come on. Like, even the whole, it's like, they ask everyone, why are you playing? And it's like, all of them, it's like, oh, hitting's great. And I'm just like, I just want to throw as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Find a way to do it.
Well, cool. Did you ever think you were going to throw this hard?
Like, probably not. It was something where it's just like, let's see how far you can go.
Do you think you're going to go farther?
I want to. I guess I have to think that I will.
Right. Where do you want to go?
Like,
how hard do you want to throw?
The next one, I want to be able to go into a game starting and be able to sit 90 for a whole start.
That'd be awesome.
And then, like, what the MLB average fastball is 93, so that's probably the next goal there, is to be somewhere right around there.
So talk about, what do you think it would take for you to get there?
Like, right now, I'm 5'10", 175. I might grow a little bit more, but I probably just mass-wise, probably gaining another 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah, right.
And with that, adding probably another 60, 70 pounds on every lift that I have. Just get stronger.
So you're bigger, stronger, faster, right?
Yeah. I'm never super worried about the mechanic stuff. Like, all the drills are super good for keeping in sync, and like if everything gets out of whack.
Yeah.
And like if you have a day where it just isn't there, it's like, oh, it's probably not your body, it's still gonna work. It's just something being out of sync.
Yeah.
So going through that just to keep everything in tune, and then just getting stronger and being just overall a better athlete for it. Like, the pitcher probably should be the best athlete on the field at this point now.
Yeah, you're consistently 93.
Yeah, you can't. It's pretty hard to not be.
Yeah, right. Well, good point. So talk about, like, what advice would you give to those that are hearing your story that want to do it as well, want to have the same experience?
Like, for it, it's something, you have to be super consistent about everything. You can't just be like, it's going to take a month or two. It's not something that just happens. Like, even right when I started, it wasn't something where all of a sudden I started throwing 5-10 miles an hour harder within a month. Like, it might happen for people, but for me, it was something that just...
You knew you were in it for the long run, right?
Yeah, it wasn't something that was just going to be like, snap my fingers and have it happen. It was something where it was just, okay, start to get a feel for everything. Okay, be consistent about it. Set aside 2 hours every day, 3 hours every day to make sure that you get everything done. That was super...
Well, I mean,
good.
It's obvious. You came to 2 camps, and you just came down again for training from Canada. Not many people have. I don't think anyone in Canada has ever done that. So, I mean, you've already put yourself in a small category here. People that are that disciplined and invested in.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, would you change any of that, or I mean, do you feel like it paid off, right?
It's something that, it's great, because that was one of those schools I said, it was like, let's try and get better.
Yeah.
This was the one thing. It was like, overall for life, it's like school, family and friends, and then baseball. And never had too much for an issue with school, so it was really, let's put in all that extra effort into something that I can really enjoy, and seeing that payoff has been
awesome.
It's
awesome
good as it gets.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I enjoyed your story. I think a lot of the people are going to enjoy your story. I mean, any last words?
Not too much. I'm super happy for everything it's done for me, just not even outside of baseball as well, because like being able to go to the gym, I never was confident enough to do that kind of stuff when I started, and like all the stuff in general helped a lot with like confidence wise, playing baseball, going to the gym. Like I'm a healthier person because of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would have ever started at least consistently going to the gym just on my own. I had no idea what to do. Like it was something I needed somewhere to start, and this gave me that point, and it was super in depth and covered everything, so I never had to worry about it. It was just follow it and do it, and it works super well.
You're very obedient. Not many people are, but also too, you made the point. It's a lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah.
And the thing is, it's the fact that you're changing your life. It becomes more beneficial because of that as well. It's not just now baseball. It's helping me in everything.
And that's something why I can't ever say it's like, oh, I've reached my goal, I'm done with it. It's something where now it's part of life. It's something I do every day.
And it'll keep you healthy,
it's consistent,
as long
and
as
then it's good for me. Even once I'm done baseball, maybe I don't have to go quite as heavy with everything, but continuing with it just because it's a good routine, something that will keep me in shape for the rest of my life.
Yep, fight disease. Heck yeah, that works. All right, well, good. I appreciate that. That was awesome.
Thank you.